All right, good to see everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. Good practice, hot. I thought the guys did a really good job of pushing through in terms of execution, focus, trying to take care of the details. That's really what we were trying to do. It's a fast mental practice, and we did a good job with that. So we'll have a different practice tomorrow, more of a mental practice, and then we'll be pointing toward the Dallas game on Saturday. What questions you have?
So how would you grade Tyler Linderbaum, the holder?
Oh, well, he's snapping there too. Yeah, we've got, you just got to work on the contingencies. How would I rate him?
Yeah.
Hopefully, we've had that in the past, like way back. We've had linebackers kick field goals. We practiced, and I'm talking about games like in Philly. You go all the way back. So we've had long snappers hold. There's a lot of different things that can happen. So you want to be prepared for every possibility.
John, one of the kind of the overarching themes I thought of the Thursday game was how well the defensive backups play. The guys at nose tackle, the guys at inside linebacker, and of course the two outside linebackers. How much does that complicate some of the things that you talked about keeping six outside linebackers?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. I guess you'd say it's a good problem to have. It does complicate it because there's more than the allotted number probably that are playing well enough to make the team. I thought our D-line, like you said, both inside, outside, and the inside backers all played really well. I thought our secondary played well, too, on defense. Those guys did well. So they'll get another chance again here on Saturday, see how they do. But they've done well in practice. So some of those guys are really coming along. They're really improving. Some young player, developmental guys that have been worked with our coaches, Dennis Johnson and Matt Robinson and Chuck Smith and Tyler Santucci. I think those coaches have done a great job, and we'll see what they do on Saturday.
John, along those lines, I know Okoye is a developmental guy, but do you see him as somebody who could sort of play anywhere along the defensive line conceivably, or where do you see his?
Well, more of a nose guard probably. I think he could play three technique a little bit, or play. He can play over the guard. You can talk about a head up two technique, but really more of a A-gap player probably. I'd probably he's 370 plus pounds, but he's really learning. I mean, he's really learning how to come out of his hips and strike and shed, stay square in there, play the run. He got some push and pass rush. He's going to be a pocket pusher. Making good use of all that size he has. He's come light years.
John, we talked a lot. We talked in the past about David Ojabo and obviously injuries have been part of that story, unfortunately. What do you kind of view is what you'd like to see in this next step in the progression as he's
David? Well, I tell you, I saw a lot of it in the game. I think he's playing in a very direct way. The thing about David Ojabo, it's important to remember, is he's not a guy that played a lot of football. He was late to football in high school, might have played 1 year of high school football. Really only played 1 year of college football, really, is what he ended up playing as far as a full season. And then he got hurt, coming out. So football is kind of one of these games where the more you play it, the better feel you have for it. It's like any sport probably. But I think his upside is really there, and believe that we'll see it. I think we've seen it already in camp. I'm looking forward to the game so everybody can see it, really. But, he's an upside guy.
Malachi with the back of the end zone interception. Obviously, some of those ball skills we saw on tape at Georgia. What value do you think he could bring to the secondary as they kind of try to get more turnovers and interceptions this year?
Absolutely. Probably, if you were going to sit there and say what was one of the biggest reasons we drafted him is because of that very reason right there. And I think Zach has just made he's made the point every day, multiple times in meetings and practice field and everything else about getting the ball, about taking the ball away, about assaulting the football, about catching the ball when they throw it to you, about catching tips and overthrows, all these different things that he's been emphasizing and working on. I think the guys are buying into it in practice, and they're making the ball, they're making a lot of plays on the ball. So, again, let's take it to the games. Malachi is a great example of it. He just has great ball skills. He has great range. All those guys back there. You saw one today with DeAndre made a great play. So, happy with those guys. Who's that?
What have you seen, maybe the little things that we don't know?
Yeah, great question, in the sense that he is really starting to play with physicality, I would say. That's probably the biggest thing for me. He looks really strong coming off the edge. He's knocking back tight ends. He's stalemating tackles, and he's really hitting all those pull kick-out schemes really well. So, and pass rush has been more physical too. So, the physicality probably would be the thing.
John, with Longer being
Yeah.
out there with the torn
Yeah.
patella tendon,
Yeah,
carry out and then just
yeah.
you know, that's a long-term,
yeah.
difficult injury.
Yeah, well, he's going to get surgery. I can tell you that. As far as being a torn patellar tendon, you know, define that. You know, that's a little bit vague. So he's doesn't. You know, I can't really say what he has, but it's you know. Am I allowed to say what it is? HIPAA allow me to tell you what it is? I can't. He says no, but it's something that was deemed that that surgery was the best move for him. You know, and that's good. That's a decision that every player has a right to make, and we support it. You know, so that's what he's going to do. I love him. The way he was playing really well, and you know, it's a little bit of a setback for sure because you know I was kind of starting to count on him and count on BK too. I mean, those two guys were really looking like they could help us this year, but they're not going to be there. You know, so we'll get them in rehab and they'll be back next year. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you guys.